So hello everyone, today I'll be continuing the lecture. So like last time I'll be completing two questions, and these two questions are very important for the exam, and as usual I'll be explaining in Nagamis, so please bear in mind. So let's get the video started. So the first question is, the real problem of administrative reforms in India at the state and local level is that they are imposed from above. So question baki ko je कि Indian administration तो तेरा main problem तो क्या जुगले तो it comes from above. So what do you understand by this? Moana Indian administrative system तो first the union government aja, that is the union government and the state government, and finally up to our villages, that is the local self government. So itu ডাঙৰ ওলা যে second to state আছে আৰু subsidy to local self government আছে. So question বকৱা যে কি মলা administrative system to upor bae ahe bishi bokto not from within, that means nijor bane na ekta compulsion ba ahe. So what could be the reason? First of all, mala administrative setup saisukle do center de all India service kan thake, that is the IAS, the IPS, etc. are done by administrative setup to sai. So without them will the states, that is the state services and the local self government can iku korna pare, because first of all one state can and villages can iku interest nai, iku compulsion nai, until and unless we are forced from the center union government gamba kiba kitya itu law implement kori koi or kitya itu act implement kori itu damde mon kore, we cannot do on our own. So this is the main problem of administrative reforms in India. So let's see the answer. Administrative reform is conscious change in administrative system to remove certain deficiency against resistance. So administrative reforms to kiba ekta change ani bole due to some problems. In India, we have three tier of government at the center, state, and local level. Time to time, reform efforts are made at all levels. So, conditional reform, kiki suppose National Food Security Act to center to implement kushugulu to itu up to the villages be implemented. So nowadays village TP mon rice, free rice by. So this is the explanation. The administrative reforms at the state and local levels are taken in the most situation and compulsion from the union government, be it forcing the state to implementing Panjari rice institution or legislating on fiscal responsibility and budgetary management. So X kan ki center kan ba ai, X kan ki center ba ai so mange force kore, without them we cannot implement anything. So states dependence on union for finance becomes the main reason for this compulsion. So itu compulsion to kiya karne aisukli to we depend so much on the center, means center kamba paisa na phata tak mon iku kam no kore. So they are the main financer. One states can especially in Nagaland though we are resource deficient state, we cannot generate resources on our own, so we mostly depend almost 90% 90 to 95% of our funds from the center. So without them our state will be paralyzed. So this is the reason one last administrative setup to bishi reform like is. Similarly, at the local level, the reforms take place at the behest of either the center or the state, that too for finance or fear of being surpassed. That is, similarly state case design village kan level this same situation as a village kan kida bui khai when state government ba paisa nidibo itula bui de kam gore. So this is the reason why there is many setbacks in administrative reforms in our states, especially in Nagaland. But for any reform to succeed, there are certain preconditions its plan should be made with consultation, implementing with consent and cooperation of implementing agency, regular monitoring, changing the behavioral attitude of the bureaucrats at the suitable level. So itu kina improve korogile to like consult korobo aro implementing with the consent and cooperation of the implementing agency means cooperate korna agency kana cooperate kor. For example, uh, Ayushman Bharat PMJ, that is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, that is health insurance scheme. Idu village tak aniu gule do the state central government, that is the National Health Authority can milina state health authority lo coordinate korna village te implement korule. So this is the hierarchy or the chronology in which ekta administrative setup ekta kam kore. So inga consultation or changing the behavioral attitude of bureaucrats, means bureaucrats can however turn remote jaga de an IAS or an NCS officer tankiman be backward area de hulibe they have to give the 100% for implementing these schemes without a change in attitude that itu apply nugurlibe eco loss no or eco problem no. It should not be like this. So due to the top-down model with the assumption of similar reforms works well in every situation, the local diverse condition and particular needs does not give the right planning of reform. So these are the problem. All this culminate in top-down model. That means uporba niche la problem ola, and it has not produced the desired effects. The failure of the Lokayukta states is an example of it. The other reasons is the failure of the administrative reforms or lack of political will to implement. That means mono politician can compulsion na political will na fragmented nature of administrative reforms in which only when the problem becomes acute then steps are taken. Means kita problem the bishi biao itu damde one steps loy. Also in India, the bureaucracy is institutional, not instrumental, due to its colonial past. So bureaucracy la problem be ekta ase because of our history with British rule. So it's difficult to implement any reform straight away without corresponding change in behavioral change. This further adds to the failure. But so now so problem though inka nohe, there are some silver lining like the working of the Vigilance Commission in the state, the Panchayati Raj institutions after the 73rd and 74th Amendment, the RTA Act, despite all certain of their certain deficiency, are working satisfactorily and has led to realization of the goals. So all is not lost. There are some that are still working, and it seems that the reason for failure of administrative reforms at the state and local level are many, and imposition from up is one of them. Means uporba ado ekta problem ase. So it is to be effective. To be effective, the reforms should be designed at particular level, and if necessary, the persuasion to adoption of reform rather than imposition should be the preferred route. So in the end, for effective implementation, the persuasion to adoption of reform rather than imposition means rather than force kuranina states kangai chance to ulale rather than forcing them tange persuade kurule means calmly tange suggest kurule. So this is the answer for the first question. So next question do the attempts to resolve administrative problems in isolation from the structure of power and purpose in the polity are bound to be illusory. So what itu question by was the attempts to solve administrative problems, something related to solving the administrative problem in isolation means ekla from the structure of power and purpose in the polity is bound to be illusory. That means bound to fail. So what does this say? Ekta problem ekta solve korole. Suppose ekta village ekta problem olashe. So to solve these administrative problems, tui ekla solve kurule try kurule to form the structure power purpose in the polity are bound the village. So what does this mean? For example, ekta problem olashe ekta village la problem olashe. So you are an administrative officer. Suppose you are an EAC. So a problem comes to you regarding the customary court. So if you try to solve the customary court like the problem, so if you try to solve the problem without consulting, without the consultation of the politicians, or without the consultations of the representatives of the village, you cannot solve this problem. So itu cause, that means in short term it means that administration or administration or politician, they go hand in hand. Administration or politician though, they go hand in hand. That means there is a certain linkage between administration and politician. So let's start. First of all, Woodrow Wilson, regarded by many as the father of the study of the public administration, introduced the concept of politics administration. That means the politician or administration equivalent hand in hand jala, equivalent काम करना jala. So itu cause dichotomy, a political administration dichotomy. That means duita do eki side of the coin nishna ase. To ekta coin side chukle to tela back front side te value dinalo or pg te tela emblem dinalo. So both of these constitute a coin. Like that in Woodrow Wilson ba type of politics or administration do ekta part of the same coin nishna they explain kurse. According to Wilson, the politics and administration are two separate spheres. When politics concerned itself with the formulation of laws and policies, it was the administration responsibility to implement them. So while stressing on the distinction between them, Wilson nevertheless seems to have recognized the presence of an umbilical cord that bind them together. So tai Woodrow Wilson ba tai first of all the politics or administration alak hole pabina dekhche, but on further inspection tai check kurse ki itu dita do ekta link taikse umbilical cord ke jukri to kida bajakta tai ama la pet polo tai la itu belly de connect korna take. So the mother and the child is related by the umbilical cord. Similar to that, politics or administration though, they are linked together. Administrative problems deal with issues like delivery of services, implementation of policies, and other related matters. In the era of delegated legislation, the administrative problems can also be dealt with faulty elaboration of policies. Corruption is a major issue that plagues administration in many countries. So konishna administration da talamen kam do delivery of service can deliver gure maintenance of law and order aro ki policy can implement gurle lai aro ajikali la situation de sesukle do there are many problems. Corruption ekta problem ase that haunts the administrative system. Given that these are some of the problems found in the administration, the solution for the same typically revolve around the same themes. So itu kina solve itu corruption aro ki kam problem kan administration kina solve kore to the system that has adequate checks on all levels of administration that either prevents or immediately alerts higher authorities to issues. So ekta system ekta ase that administration kange immediately implement immediately tange alert kordole. For example, ekta department there may be some officers, nodal officers who will see over the implementation of schemes. Or do kiba ekta problem hoishole to tam directly itu administrative officer kange inform godo. So a proper feedback system where the recipient of administration is able to voice their concerns to the power that be. So recipients of administration to manukon. So manikon suppose national food security. For example, chawal de them de anomaly bashe. For example, kumbado instead of 5 kg, 2 kg paise. So manukon itu kina complain guru gule do. Ekta system da gule lai feedback system means tange officer kange jane du gule lai ki chawal komti paise. So kibek ta guru. So these are the feedback system. Next, the swift and efficient redressal of administrative issues. Means kiki law and order problem usually do fatapat solve kuru without any delay, because we know that justice delayed is justice denied. So the one critical factor is that power flows from the politician to the executive. The legislator often is regarded to be the first among equals organ of the government, has politician answerable to it. So Q live dunia de politician kando thaikula ja along with administration asikule do politician will go hand in hand. Without them they cannot function with the government. So even in so has politician answerable to it for all kinds of administrative issues. Even in recently evolving concept of delegated legislation means politician kamba administration kange power there be so power do politician kange take any administrative setup, even if efficient stand alone, cannot sustain its efficiency without the help and cooperation of the polity, that is the politician. Polity in itself exists for the primary purpose of delivering governance to the people. Administrative problems, despite being directly linked to the executive, eventually end up at the doors of the political setup of the land. So, konishna administration kan kema bi kurili at the end the politician kan by law do frame grow, tam by law do legislate grow, aro administration kan come to implement grow. So without laws, the politician, without proper rules and regulation, the administration is powerless. Thus, it is thus not possible to view problems to administrative problems isolated from the structural polity, and even if such solutions do exist, they are not sustainable. So konishna that polity or administration they are not different elements, but they are the sides of the same coin. Aro ekta ke isolate kurle chai gule to ekta to completely fail ho jao. So with this the explanation has come to an end. I hope you all understood something. Thank you all for watching and have a great time and study hard for your exams. Thank you.